ohmTown Twitch episode. Today is February 4th? Today is February 4th, 2022. I'm losing track of time. And today we're going to be going over some general news like we normally do. I am Merwatt. I go by Merwatt throughout Twitch and other places, but here on ohmTown and on YouTube and on Twitter and other places, I don't promote Merwatt. I am only ohmTown while I'm streaming. So if you see me type something, it's going to come across as ohmTown. But when I'm out in other people's channels, I prefer to not walk around as kind of a living billboard for the show or shows. I really do hope that I can get enough momentum to launch 50 shows a week, each with their own specialization. And you can actually see most of the shows as groups over on ohmTown right there. Hey, I did it again. If you go over to ohmTown.com, you'll see what I'm talking about. And if you watch the show or look at past VODs, the intro at the beginning says basically this. I built ohmTown because I wanted to aggregate a bunch of news that was personal to me, interesting to me, and I had control over, and I wanted it in a publicly accessible space and not a particular app on an iPad or phone or something. So I built ohmTown.com. As ohmTown became more functional for me, I shared it with a couple of people who said, hey, you really should make this a site. So I turned it into a site. This was years and years ago. I never formally launched it. And I decided in 2022 that I was going to merge everything together. And now I'm streaming on Twitch and hoping that you get something out of it. You find it interesting. You can ask me questions without going too into it, at least not right now. I talk to people pretty much every day about news, business, technology, science in various categories, ethics, sociology. But there's three main categories, and it's business, technology, and society. And those three combine to give me a pretty broad, but not necessarily deep understanding of topics. And so I am always consuming news, and that news gets aggregated by some custom code and thrown into this site into 6 categories: create, news, education, entertainment, social, and technology. There are about 50 shows that are already created that I am planning, 1-hour shows or longer. It really depends on the host or engagement via the audience. And if you ever have questions or comments or anything, really, the chat is always open. Even when the stream isn't going, the chat is open. And so we have 3 new people who ended up following ohmTown here on Twitch. And one is Z, and then Brildane, and then Ice Cream Man. You 3, thank you very much. I put something in chat, but not everybody sees that when they first join. So if you weren't here, then you didn't see it, but I just wanted to put it in the record. Thank you very much for following. Really appreciate it. And I hope that you look back at a VOD and you find value in it. The more there is engagement, the more, I don't know how to describe it other than maybe entertaining, because I riff off of the people who are speaking with me. And so it can come across kind of dry when there isn't a lot of people or anybody chatting. But No, that's fine. We will keep moving forward. So thanks again. That said, every time you click on the logo for ohmTown, the front page is going to refresh. I've actually disabled a few things just to do some testing on the site, but you should be able to access everything and do everything. The front page is not a sample of the news. It is a stream of news flowing into ohmTown for you to click on. You'll get taken over to various groups, and there are discussion boards, topics for people to talk about that particular bit of news. And so what happens is you click on it and it'll open up a page. And this particular page is a group called Mobble. That topic right there, DHS announces new cybersecurity review board, is here for you to talk about. But this is only a snippet. And so you'll have to click visit the source and you'll get taken out to the original source of the news. I take a little snippet. Typically it's about 50 words. There may be something that is misconfigured and I'll have to fix that if you see more than that, but I'm trying to limit to 50. And I don't grab images. And what I want you to do as a citizen of ohmTown, you should go over to the source, read it in its entirety. I'm drawing attention to the article and maybe giving a little bit of context from my perspective. And the reality, society is a spectrum. So although facts exist, the context at which or in which people accept them or utilize them seems to be a range, a spectrum. And, some people refer to that kind of a thing as the whole red pill, blue pill kind of thing, where one thing is the truth and one thing is the contraption that one has built around them that represents a truth. But that's not really how things are. And so this spectrum means that we need to talk about it and find out why somebody might think the way that they're thinking about something. And if it isn't really, if we can't find alignment, that's fine. But there are facts, and rarely in news do we get all of them in a pithy little tweet or a short little segment headline. So I want you to go and read it and then come and talk with me in real time. I can even put you up there in that little space up there. I can open up another window and you can talk with me live on the air. That's old school term for broadcasting radio on the air. And yeah, I might have aged myself a little bit. So at any rate, DHS announces new cybersecurity review board. This is written by Chloe Fulmer. I had heard about this a while ago, and basically this is spawning, empowered by the Biden-Harris administration. Like it says here, the Biden-Harris administration has taken bold steps to meaningfully improve our cyber security resilience. This is because largely most people believe that cybersecurity is somebody else's problem, and that's just not the case. We all have a part to play in our own security and the security of society around us. That said, sometimes bigger steps need to be taken because people do not act responsibly. And so others will hack and others will be victims of it, while others are attempting to protect themselves 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And just most cybersecurity related matters go unknown for somewhere around 15 months. And then it takes time for the remedy to arrive, let's say patching software from a 0-day flaw. But it can be very, very costly to not pay attention. So subject matter experts get together. In some cases, an apparatus is created, something policy procedure based comes out of it, and then it's deployed. This happens day in, day out. And DHS has a cybersecurity side to it. And so our taxpayer dollars are going into hopefully finding better solutions to protect not just the nation's cybersecurity, but every citizen within it. So we're going to have to monitor this and see what happens. The statement here is the Cyber Safety Review Board will connect government and industry leaders in cybersecurity to work together on improving cybersecurity nationwide. For one of my degrees, this basically what they're talking about is one of my capstone assignments where you simulate a government agency and protect it against threats. And this is basically the industrial size version of it. So let's see what the next article is. Genshin Impact codes. If you aren't into Genshin Impact, it's a game. It's a very popular game. Let's click the link. This is from rpgsite.net. They don't have the name of the actual author, but if you go over to the site, you will just do a search for Genshin Impact codes. These come out periodically as promos, and then you can use them within Genshin Impact. You get gems, and I think I've only ever seen gems. There's other stuff like Hero's Wit and Enhancement Ore, but I don't believe I've ever seen weapons or armor or anything like that. I don't play Genshin Impact that much, but I thought it was interesting to bring to ohmTown, because one of the segments of ohmTown is gaming, not just tabletop gaming, but this was aggregated into tabletop nights. I'm a gamer, and I probably will be, until I drop dead. So always fun to play some games. In fact, I'm watching Splattercat Gaming play Neon Abyss right before the show. So anyway, this next article is a review of Ghostwire Tokyo. This game is quite fascinating. The graphics are amazing. I'm gonna click the link, and it'll take us over to RP Gamer. Alex Fuller is the writer of this, and this is a game that's coming out, and it's called Ghostwire Tokyo. And basically what's happened is the population of Tokyo has disappeared or died, except for one person, and the things in the dark basically come out of nowhere. You as the protagonist have to run around and solve the problem, figure out what it is that causes it, causes all of the people to disappear, and these what amounts to monsters come into existence. And the special effects, or I should say the computer graphics, the animations, the resolution of it, it's crisp, it's clear, it's fun, it looks great. Spooky as all get out, but you might enjoy it. I really like the high energy of the attacks and defenses and stuff. So I won't go through. I won't talk about the entire article, because I don't read the entire article live. I actually select these. I don't even read anything beyond the snippet that my aggregator has pulled into ohmTown. And then I encourage you, the viewer, to go over to the site and click the links, go and read this. I'm working on a system where I'll be able to post the actual articles in a pinned post each day. But that's in progress. So you'll have to go over to RP Gamer. You'll see it on their site because it's a new article. And then just read it and come back and talk with me. If I get something wrong, I expect people to school me, correct me. Tell me where I went wrong, or if you have a different perception of something, then let me know what it is, because perhaps you have some wisdom, some experience, some knowledge, some facts that can reorient people, because not everybody has all of the story all the time. We are flawed. So, but we have the world's knowledge at our fingertips, except for that isn't posted into the internet. But I'm going to end up going down this side channel of discussion and thought. If you haven't seen my previous recordings, I disclose regularly that I practice associative thinking, and so we can wander off the path talking about something, and then hopefully we pull it back to the original. It works most of the time, but sometimes we can get distracted. So this next article is Microsoft reportedly cans HoloLens 3 in direction kerfuffle. There is a link to the article over on PC Gamer. So HoloLens is an augmented reality headset, full-on computer all by itself. But it's thousands of dollars. It's a full computer though. You don't need anything extra, apparently. I've never used it. I've only seen it. I couldn't motivate myself to spend somewhere around $3,000 for it. But if they are getting rid of HoloLens, hopefully the technology can be leveraged in some other way. But it says here that Microsoft has denied the rumor. This was aggregated from PC Gamer many hours ago, and it was written by Hope Corrigan. So we shall see what Microsoft ultimately does with the HoloLens. I think it's a great piece of kit, except that it's really expensive. I don't remember the original. People were talking about it, that it was heavier and it would heat up and stuff like that. But iteration after iteration and subtle changes, even though without renaming it, next generation or whatever. I think it's like a great device now. Even then I thought it was a great device, but anyway, if you're interested in HoloLens, you could basically do a search on YouTube or just on the internet. Just do a search in Google or some other search engine, DuckDuckGo, if you don't like being tracked. Do a search for HoloLens and you'll see even more about it. But you look right through the glass, just like a pair of glasses, except that it throws imagery wherever you decide to fling it. So you could actually throw like a 150-inch monitor on the wall somewhere and walk away while you're wearing these, and it will stay pinned wherever you dropped it. And then you can come back and look, and it's still there. It's kind of cool. Not kind of cool. It's really cool. And it's wireless, so there's a win. So this next article is over on Warcrafters at ohmTown. It was aggregated from PC Gamer as well, and it says here, NVIDIA's tiny bus-powered RTX A2000 Pro card delivers RTX 3050 level gaming performance. Well, let's click this link and take a look at it. At this point, I could care less if this thing uh, it could be powered by blood. I will just keep pricking my finger on the charging device. I want low cost. I want low cost RTX graphics cards from NVIDIA and otherwise. Because now I think Intel is doing one that's hopefully going to be competitive. There is NVIDIA, there's AMD. Anyway, Chris Ceswick, I think it's pronounced Ceswick. Wrote this article, and I really hope that we get more graphics cards because it's ridiculous. But then I've seen videos on sites of people that are hoarding them and then just kind of drip out as people pay $1,500 for a $500 graphics card. Rather ridiculous and exploitive, but the people that do this are probably yelling at their monitor if they ever even see this, screaming, well, that's just because you didn't do it. Yeah, you're right. My ethical compass doesn't allow me to do that. So this next article is Warcrafters, and Blizzard is working on a Warcraft mobile game, which, let's click this link. So Andy Chalk wrote this article. No BlizzCon announcement for this one. Activision Blizzard revealed the Warcraft mobile game in its quarterly financial results. And I have to say, this would probably, to me, I'm an original beta tester, closed beta tester for the original World of Warcraft MMO. And I played that thing like in a ridiculous amount of hours until I ended up relocating, going back to school, things like that. And it was amazing fun. And then I've bought every single release that has come down from Blizzard, and I've liked it less and less as time has gone on. And I used to love it so much, but the story seems to have disappeared to me. Again, my perspective of things. You might think that is wrong, but this is my perspective of things. And in this particular case, it just seemed like it got further and further away from engaging content and more into the grind of learning a battle, and less about the community, like hanging out together and going on quests and things like that. It simply became grind really fast through the content so that you can keep up and then get into end game raiding. And that's where you just learn the battle. You watch videos if you don't have time, and you learn the battle. And it just became really frustrating for me. I hope that somewhere along the line we get really good, compelling questing based worlds and content back into World of Warcraft, because odds on I won't be buying anything until I hear word that that's where it's back to. I mean, I would love for Blizzard to have content where I have the opportunity to do base building of my own, kind of like how ArcAge has it and others. Ashes of Creation, I think, is another one that's coming out that has that kind of base building mechanic in it. Maybe I can't remember off the top of my head right now. They may not have it, but yeah, I really like the ability to do base building and questing and things like that in an MMO setting. But Blizzard just never did that. They came close, but it was kind of fixed how it was built and stuff like that. Anyway, we'll be watching this. Microtransactions and stuff like that. It just might be the final blow to World of Warcraft and Blizzard as an MMO gaming platform that it's known for, and it'll be pivoting into the mobile gaming market, which is extremely lucrative, particularly when you have a very engaging game. So this next article is a magazine from 1994 is selling for thousands of dollars online because of QAnon. So I had heard about this. This is aggregated into Mobile at ohmTown. And I'm going to click the link so that you can see this. But this is a Vice article. And that magazine is called George. And it was a magazine that was built by John F. Kennedy. And one of the articles, let me see if they talk about it. John F. Kennedy Jr., pardon me. And there's some weird thing going on in Dallas, I guess, about this. John F. Kennedy still, I might have found, I think I have another article in my selection that talks about it. But I thought I had heard that at one point Drew Barrymore was kitted up like Marilyn Monroe for this magazine back in 2019 or something, or not 2019. Hold on. Where was it? When was it? Oh, it says in a 2019 retrospective. Anyway, it was sometime between 1995 and 2001. I haven't seen, I'd have to go and look at that cover because this isn't it. But anyway, the whole idea of George was to basically make it more popular. So at any rate, so now they're selling it because obviously when something goes viral at whoever QAnon is, because it's just whoever Q is, maybe they've got like a bunch of these and they're selling them on eBay and making a killing. Anyway, it's written by Anna Merlin, this article. A magazine from 1997 is selling for thousands of dollars online because of QAnon. And it has some reference, Survival Guide to the Future. That's the one that they're selling. So go and check it out. Go over to Vice and read the long form version of what I'm talking about. It'll be a more cogent statement, but you get the gist of it. This next article is on Smack Talk at ohmTown. It says best deals for February. $70 off PowerBeats Pro, $220 27-inch 2K monitors, $220 27-inch monitors. You can actually get them cheaper than that, but the resolution sucks. And $40 400 gigabyte micro SD cards. So I'm going to click this link. It takes us over to Apple Insider. These, the whole reason why I did it is because of the 400 gigabyte micro SD cards. This is a tremendous amount of storage in something the size of your pinky fingernail. And I think it's great. I want that density to increase. Unfortunately, the more that you use them as a storage medium in sustained periods, they heat up and they fail. There is no cooling system really other than air. So be careful with those devices and make backups just in case something bad happens. But I want you to go over to Apple Insider and check out the deals. They went through a lot of hard work to find all of these deals. Wesley Hilliard, and they put it into this neat little form so that you can take a look at things. Samsung T7 Touch Portable SSD. You have to unlock it. I think that's the one. Pretty neat stuff. This next article is Michigan toddler dials 911 on an Apple Watch. This is Smack Talk at ohmTown. It was aggregated from Apple Insider. And yeah, your child can and will dial 911 on an old Apple Watch. Yeah. I wonder if that's interesting. So my 3-year-old just called 911. He took what we thought was a defunct Apple Watch to bed, and next thing we know, he's talking to 911 on the watch. Here's a clip. So any cellular device, any modern cellular device, if you power it on, it still retains the ability to be an emergency call device. So my family donates our old phones, typically, to various places, and you can do it too. So you can basically turn your phone into an emergency device that gets handed out to people so that if they ever are in an emergency, they can call 911. Typically homeless or people that are in some way in need of having an emergency device for their health and safety and can't necessarily afford it or want it on their bill, that kind of a thing. So like domestic abuse and things. They get donated to people so in need. So you can do that too. Anyway, this is a valuable lesson that the device probably should not have been given to their kid because something like this can happen. And there's tiny parts on the band and things. You don't want somebody chewing on a band. An Apple Watch band actually has metal parts on it. So the metal pin is the main thing that I'm talking about. At any rate, let's keep going. Again, on Smack Talk, Victrola Revolution Go review, a portable record player, perfect for budding music enthusiasts. I'm going to click this link so you can see what we're talking about here. Victrola is old school record player and other things, if I recall correctly. Anyway, Apple Insider is reporting, and it's written by Amber Neely. Take your music on the go with Victrola's Revolution Go, a battery-powered, Bluetooth-enabled, all-in-one record player. Because you never know when you want to plop down your records to play them. Pretty neat. You know, I love the tech, so if you can utilize it, you might want to play something for somebody from a record that you're selling, or you're out somewhere and you want to just play some music. You can do it at the beach. You can do it poolside if you don't have music. Probably not the most efficient because it's going to have to be spinning a record player, but let's leave it at that. You can go over and read it if you're interested. Everything old is new again, and Victrola is still floating around. So this next article, sorry, I had to check something. This next article is under 4-Wheel Tech. This is Airstream's idea of a battery-powered EV travel trailer. We click the link, and there you have it. Airstream is extremely popular, and it's captioned as this concept won't go into production, but many of the ideas might. Wow. This is actually pretty neat. But really, it's a travel trailer, so it doesn't have its own power to get around. It just hooks on. So it being battery powered, That way you don't need a generator or anything like that. You can throw stuff. If it has solar panels on the top, then it can generate power that way. If it has batteries all inside its sled, then that can extend the use of items inside it, like electric. Oh, look, it does. Yeah, see, this is why I don't read these things beforehand, because I really don't want to be prepared. I want you to have an honest reaction, just like me. And I didn't know that it had solar cells on it. So basically, as long as you're in bright sun, you can run this thing forever. It's better than using a gas generator, and it's better than having to be hooked up to a car. And having a limited amount of batteries means limited amount of run time. But if you actually dedicate a considerable amount of batteries, then obviously it's going to run for a lot longer. But this is a pretty neat idea. If you have the space for it, and if you like to travel and maintain your own autonomy, you don't have to stop somewhere and get a room. You can just stop somewhere and sleep right here in your trailer. Our vehicles can't pull this anyway, so it's pretty neat. And Airstream, they're maintaining their iconic look, so go and check it out. It's over at Ars Technica and written by Jonathan Gitlin. This next article is again at Smack Talk. Apple Watch Series 7 has a fast charging problem. I don't know what the problem is. I haven't been paying much attention to the various segments of Apple Watch. And so I'm just interested in the Apple Watch and its ecosystem. I didn't know of a problem. But it says one of the few new features that arrived with the Apple Watch 7 was faster charging. In the month since then, it's clear that the charge is significantly quicker when you can find a fast charger combo that works. So let's see. So other than fast charging, there weren't any other changes. Apple includes one. So they're burying this. Sorry, 1 second. I'm trying to figure out what the actual problem is. So, so is that what it's actually saying? I'm sorry for the silence. This is odd the way that it's written. Apple can do two things to fix the issue. Okay. Assuming it sees a problem, it can either discontinue or update its existing products. It can also make the official fast charge puck more readily available to third-party accessory makers. Okay, so I guess the problem is that not everybody can fast charge because it's not everybody that has the ability to fast charge. That's that might actually be a business decision to keep Apple the one that's in charge of the success or failure of its batteries in the tech that it sells, because they don't want to fast charge something or allow somebody else to use their fast chargers and something fail. This is something that I get into with people who are vehemently interested in right to repair. So I'm into right to repair. Totally agree. I think that if you buy a piece of equipment, that you should be able to fix it. And what I do when I talk to people about stuff is I have to prime the pump. I have to walk people through this because for whatever reason, if I just blurt out something, people get really upset. Well, what I'm about to say is when you buy a company's item and it starts to fail and you have the right to repair it and you go and repair it, because of a few bad apples where the right to repair has actually taken place, somebody has repaired the item, and let's say that item then fails, the person who went and got it repaired over there can and or will go to the original provider and say, your item burned down my house, leaving off the context that it was repaired at some point, and it becomes a forensic issue where somebody has to find the literal smoking gun. Does it always happen? No. But I can see why a company may not want people doing whatever they want to with the items that they are buying. Is that the case for every company that's saying, no, we don't want you noodling around inside the equipment that you are buying, and they take possession of it, right? So they say our product. Well, when they sell an item, it's no longer their product. It's my product. I paid for it. I should be able to do whatever the heck I want with it as long as it's legal. Well, we kind of know how that's going with John Deere tractors, right? Because people are absolutely livid that they can't repair their own tractors that cost $250,000 or more. Well, this is kind of the reason, in my estimation. I can see why a company would want to try and protect the nuts and bolts of the device from somebody tweaking things inside it. I don't know. A lot of companies don't really care about that stuff, and nobody's running around stopping people from overclocking their CPUs. Nobody's running around saying you can't have this cooler on a motherboard. And nobody is stopping me from swapping out a differential on my car for a different model of it, a different brand altogether. As long as I get the gears all meshed up right, everything, I could do whatever I want to with my car up until the point liability has to be addressed because of some failure. And from there, we can end up going down a rabbit hole. So in the spirit of moving on to more news, I'm going to keep on trucking through this, but I can see myself spiraling down this discussion. This next article is from the Order of the Bean, which is about coffee. It's a group on ohmTown.com. Daily coffee news. Click the link and you get taken over to Dozer Coffee Awakens at the Holmes campus in Ann Arbor. This is really a hyper-local comment about the fact that there are still companies that are launching in real space and trying to get people to come to their location. And we're still 1 million jobs off from pre-COVID across the country. Some states apparently haven't been impacted job-wise, which is seemingly impossible. But low population states, some of them don't seem to have that much of a employment problem. But we're 1 million jobs off, according to some of the reports that I've read. But here's a cafe. It's craft production focused Homes campus, which opened last December in the Jackson Plaza Industrial Complex. So the neat little article. Looks industrial, pretty cool. This next article is the continuity report. Lindsay Lohan leads Super Bowl ad workout for Planet Fitness. So I'm going to click the link. Followers of Lindsay Lohan. leads Super Bowl ad workout for Planet Fitness. This is by Brian Steinberg. Followers of Lindsay Lohan can go to the Super Bowl to get a new workout. Lohan is at the center of a new Super Bowl commercial from Planet Fitness, which is running an ad in the big game for the first time in its corporate history. Huh. What do you think? The fitness chain has for years been a big sponsor of Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve on ABC, figuring that ad messages in that show would influence consumers eager to make a weight loss resolution. Well, gyms kind of took a beating during COVID because they weren't allowed to host a lot of people at a time. You had to maintain social distancing even when you're working out. And if there's one place that's going to be exhaling a ton of air, oh, there's a politics joke there. But anyway, it would be the gym because everybody's huffing and puffing. And that means sweat and exhaling moist air, and you basically become a petri dish. So I hope everything gets picked back up. This next article is Amazon spent $13 billion on film, TV, and music content in 2021, up 18%. Amazon is just being a juggernaut over this pandemic and providing a ton of resources to people at a relatively low rate. Don't get any ideas, Amazon. We don't need it raised. And Amazon costs for video and music content last year hit $13 billion, up around 18%, representing a slowdown from its spending binge in 2020. Probably didn't need it because so many people were turning to Amazon to support their need to obtain goods. E-commerce giant disclosed total video and music expense for 2021 in its SEC filing. So click the link, it takes you over to Variety. And this is the Wheel of Time series. That's an image from the Wheel of Time. Great trilogy. To me, it got kind of wonky after the original. It just, I couldn't stay focused. But if you watched my videos, it's pretty obvious. Anyway, in May 2021, Amazon inked a deal to acquire MGM for $8.45 billion in cash, including the MGM's debt. Interesting. For the full year, Amazon subscription revenue was $31.8 billion, up 26 year over year. That's a tremendous amount of growth for Amazon, which has been around for a while. But like I said, everybody was leaning on Amazon to provide products. So go over to Variety. Todd Spangler is the writer of this article, and let them know that you read their article. Variety.com. This next article, the results are in. Here are the 15 legal tech winners of the 2022 ABA Tech Show Startup Alley competition. So I'm going to click this link. Takes you over to Lawsite blog. I won't go through the whole thing, but if you are into law and legal tech, I've been a huge proponent of utilizing technology in the legal profession. Legal research is outrageously expensive, but the benefit that it gives to attorneys is what you're paying for. So, you know, it is what it is, and small firms really are the ones that suffer the most, because it can cost hundreds of dollars a month for a subscription to be able to go looking through what amounts to consolidated legal documents. And it's all arguably publicly available, except for all of the value added stuff that the legal research companies provide. So, so Legal Dashboard Legal is a collaboration and project management tool built for attorneys. You can go through this whole thing when you get a chance, but there is, just like fintech, there is legal tech, and people are writing software, primarily software, to facilitate the legal profession. Go and check it out over at lawsitesblog.com, tracking technology and innovation for the legal profession. Go and check it out. You'll find something interesting in that article. Pardon me. WYZE, right? Wise. The word in tech, video doorbell pro review. A lot to like, except for the look. So let's click this. Yeah, that's what it looks like. To me, it looks like a chocolate candy bar being pulled out of a package. It has the same ring as the Ubiquity doorbell, I think. Interesting industrial design. Very glossy. It isn't the cheapest video doorbell you can buy. Odd from a company that's become a byword for good budget smart home gear. It's hard to buy any doorbell camera cheap. But $90 for a doorbell cam, that's pretty inexpensive. Anyway, you can go and check it out. I've used several over the years. I like Ubiquity the best so far. Ease of deployment, ease of access to it. I've used Ring and others, but I really like the Ubiquity one. But I'll test out hardware. So if you're part of a company and you want somebody to noodle around with tech, send it my way. I will dive right in, both feet. So this next article is Wall Street Journal owner News Corp suffers cyber attack by hackers linked to China. So this is in the word in tech. I guess today's word would be cyber attack, considering I've had a couple of other articles about cyber. Anyway, News Corp says it was the target of an attack, of a hack. Its security consultant, Mondiant, which is investigating the hack, believes the attackers, quote, are likely involved in espionage activities to collect intelligence to benefit China's interests. Yeah. And they're probably an APT, an advanced persistent threat. They are probably in their network for more than one iteration. So they'll probably find out more. I'm sure somebody like Krebs is all over this, monitoring what might come out of this. Because it's disheartening that journalists are the target of attack kind of on the regular, and it's largely because, like I say, abuse happens in the dark, and journalists tend to write publicly about that kind of thing, and they get disappeared sometimes in countries that want to prevent people from changing the status quo, even through the natural process of things. So at any rate, let's keep going. Now that we know News Corp is hacked, which, yeah, cybersecurity is a very lucrative career. Let's see. Cocoon Night Buds. A pricey Voltron of sleep tech. This caught my eye simply because of the title, A Pricey Voltron of Sleep Tech. Let's see. These earbuds are onto something, but the execution isn't there yet. I love the idea of being able to wear headphones or earbuds or something, but they're always going to have to be piezoelectric, low fidelity kind of. I don't know of really high fidelity piezoelectric in-ear buds, because they have to be really low profile so that you can roll over. Otherwise, you're going to be jamming an earbud deeper into your ear canal. And as doctors say, don't put anything in your ears. But sometimes you just need to wear something that drowns out all of the sound because you're just not exhausted enough. I'm one of those people. So I might have to try these. Let's see. In a nutshell, night buds are what you get if you cross the Calm app with the Bose Sleep Buds 2 and the Aura Ring. Wow. A chimera of existing sleep tech and all I've ever wanted. Neat. So bad stuff. Limited content library, too expensive. Sleep tracking is bare bones. Yeah, I don't care about sleep tracking as long as I get to sleep. It says limited content library, but I'm not quite sure why content matters if you can play your own audio. Maybe they're talking about something else. But go and check out the article. I'll have to read it later. And like I say in my shows, if something interesting spawns from me reading it and it's worth bringing back to actually talk about it here live, then I'll do so. But I'm more interested in drawing attention to it, talking about it live. If you learn something about it and you want to come back and talk to me about it, then I'm more than willing to talk about it. I mean, I love the discussion. I love different perspectives. It allows me to see a wider perspective of the world, and not be so insular. So read it and then come on back and talk to me and school me. Georgetown Law, don't punish your new hire over his lesser black woman tweet. I clicked this because there's a really big push in higher learning for what's referred to as DEI. Doggone it. My brain just went blank. Let me click on it. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Pardon me. I'm not sure why that slipped my mind. Anyway, so this person tweeted out and said that this Supreme Court justice that's being nominated, they wrote, alas, doesn't fit into latest intersectionality hierarchy, so we'll get lesser black woman. End quote. And that's a tweet. And when I had heard about this, it kind of triggered me, but I think it's in a different way that most people might be triggered by this, right? So what they said and the way they said it, and their perspective should never have been embodied in a tweet. Nobody should make these kind of statements in a tweet because you don't have the ability to educate without some massive pushback before you can even say the next bit of education, right? So context matters. It's a phrase that you'll hear from me a lot because it always does. And in this case, context matters. But the way that they phrased it it being a pithy little tweet sitting out there on the internet for anything short of a nanosecond of time will elicit a response from a very large audience, which is the entirety of the internet. And so instead of saying something like, I don't agree with this nomination because here are some facts and my perspective and so on and so forth, they do a pithy little tweet or tweets. And it really doesn't matter because a tweet is a singular unit. Even if you try to make, poetry with it, it's a tiny little segment and things get taken out of context very quickly. But this, not only is it hard to take it out of context, but without some form of overt, unbiased fact, you shouldn't refer to anybody as lesser or greater unless you have some evidence to back it up, right? If I have two people and they all have the same exact skill set, and through interaction, they both have the exact same social skills, professional skills, everything is exactly the same, you could literally toss a coin up and heads one person, tails the other person, right? Because anything short of that means that you're using some other thing to make the decision, right? If we're all equal, well, even that context is limited, and it goes further back into sociology and history, and not everybody is equal, and not everybody has been treated equal, even if it isn't. If this person is still, if both people are a 1%er and one person is a person of color, you may want to disagree with me, but decades of mistreatment does not disappear. And so you have to give context and extract yourself from bias and make it known that this is the rationale for your decisions and has nothing to do with race or gender or religion or all of this other materiality of what makes a person a person. Because the moment that you say anything that runs afoul of being overtly unbiased, there is going to be a large number of people that get upset with you. That said, there are times where I actually create that environment because it stimulates discussion about these issues. So while I don't necessarily think that a person should be fired, it really comes down to what is the context of this and what is the intent of it. And the simple fact that they're referring to somebody as a lesser just screams to me that they're not thinking critically about their words, not quite enough. Pardon me one second. Because everybody should see everybody as a human being. And there is no lesser or greater. There may be somebody that is better suited for the position because of their professional history, their education, their ability to communicate. This kind of smacks of that, they wanted to say something else, but they said the wrong thing in the wrong way as a pithy little tweet. And that is their mistake. Not to mention, there might be something underneath that motivated that kind of a statement using those words. That's the context, another layer of context. And context is really like an onion. You pull back the layers and you find more context, because the truth is always different than the marketing hype or the person that's screaming about it being a poor product. The reality is somewhere in between these 2 points. Okay, I'm going to keep going because this is actually a really long-term discussion. How about this? We've got another storm coming through Texas. I know that this is hyper local to the United States. Not all of my news is. I try for it to be more impactful across the world, and not focus on a town or focus on a state or just the U.S. But sometimes things are interesting, and it might apply where you are. At least my words might, because we've had this struggle here in Texas that the power grid is separate from the rest of the United States. Kind of the whole "don't tread on me" ideology here. And so this last storm, there was a storm that basically shut down Texas, and there was a kerfuffle and a lot of blame being thrown out at things like wind generators, which don't really supply that much. But anyway, well, now there's another winter storm coming, and Bitcoin miners are sucking so much power off the grid that they have to shut down, so that there's enough power. Possibly the number of outages and the amount of power to me doesn't really matter if the grid can't handle the negative weather. But it says Bitcoin miners in energy-rich Texas are seizing the moment to make good on their promise of helping the power grid during Winter Storm Landon. So they're going to shut down temporarily. Let's see. No one can guarantee that there won't be a load shed event, which is code for everything shutting down. Anyway, so Bitcoin, again, Bitcoin technology, that's business technology. That's what Bitcoin really is: business, technology, and society all merging right here in a winter storm. This next article is Congress suddenly cares about the right to repair. We were talking about this earlier. There's a new act called the Freedom to Repair Act. Everybody's talking about it in Congress. Obviously, I am a proponent of it. I think there should be a right to repair. The caveat is going to be in the forensic analysis of claims that take place should something still fail catastrophically. And there's a lot of protectionism in the blocking of right to repair, because things like the ice cream machine at McDonald's, there's this big documentary about how it's basically it fails because it's automated, but it's automated to the point where it's almost going to fail all the time, and they use a proprietary vendor to repair these things, and you can't fix it yourself as a franchise. It's written in the contract that you have to use a particular vendor to purchase the equipment and to repair the equipment, and it's quite expensive. Again, I'm pro right to repair, so I think I closed this article. Sorry about that. So this next article is Dyslexia researchers develop tool to flag early reading challenges. This is a pretty big deal because early detection of dyslexia allows changing the way that somebody might study and learn to read. And in doing so, catching it early allows people to become more effective learners and make coping with dyslexia easier to do, and almost become a non-issue as you train your brain and you get that muscle memory to always read a certain way, see things a certain way, and find out, basically address what it is that triggers that little flip of a letter or the misseeing of a word. You can suss it out. So I'm not sure what the tool is though. Brain-based learning, dyslexia is a brain-based learning challenge that affects about 15% of the population. I didn't know that it was that much. Wow. I wonder, I might end up having, and I say might, but I might end up having to go down the rabbit hole of finding out if it's something, if it has to do with our lettering system, if the lettering system is faulty and that's what causes this problem. But anyway, let's see. The assessment tool is called Multitudes. It's unique because it's based on the latest neuroscience research and designed to be paired with interventions. That's great. Okay, so I'll let you go over to phys.org. It's written by Jess Berthold, University of California. Go check it out. And I'm going to rush through these next two. Transboundary river basins connect countries and require effective cooperation. You know what? I think I'm going to leave this one for tomorrow because there's some discussion, some context that I would like to leverage here. And let's take a look at this next one. We've already talked about this one. So, no, I'm not marketing this. I'm not even going to talk about it. It just popped up because I still have it open in my thread from the last time that I highlighted it. But if you are interested in the beer maker, it's apparently still available and it's drop dead simple to use. I'm still debating if I want to get it or not. I don't drink that much beer. Anyway. Okay, everybody. I hope you got a ton of information out of this. I threw a bunch of articles at you. I'm going to try and make it easier for you to follow each episode's links. I don't think that I can't do the back catalog here on Twitch, but the last 5 or so I'll be able to provide links. Anyway, they'll be followed up. All of my last month will be posted to YouTube here pretty soon. I'm waiting for some content to be made so that I can post it. And all in all, we're chugging right along. So I hope you enjoy this. I'm still working on that right there. I have a really big desk over here and all of my stuff is over there as well as here. And it's just kind of a hot mess and I can't get rid of that because the office is only so big. But I don't know. Suddenly this is becoming a weird ending. Don't make it weird, Mayor Watt. Don't make it weird. You've already made it weird. It's really weird, isn't it? This is how we're ending it. Thanks for coming to ohmTown. See you tomorrow, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern.